Hey now, what is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just got back from the theaters after seeing X. X is a 2022 film that is written, produced, and directed by Ty West. This guy does a shitload of horror movies, and it's produced by A24. Now, A24 is very hit or miss for me. I've seen a decent amount of their horror movies, and I either dig it or I hate them. You know what I mean? And so I went into this a little skeptical. The only reason, really, why I took myself to the theater to see this movie, if I'm being honest, is because of the reviews. This film has gotten great reviews. Oh, one of the best horror movies of all time, the best slasher movie ever, is one headline I saw. And I said to myself, okay, is it? The plot is we meet this group of people who want to shoot a porno. Like there's no other way around getting to what they want to do and why they are here. They come to this farm to shoot it, and they supposedly have the permission of this old couple that lived there, right? And everything seems to be going okay at first until all hell breaks loose. Now, I don't know how much is known plot-wise about this movie. I saw the trailer once, like a month or so ago, so I don't remember how much the trailer tells you or lets you know who's doing the killing and why, and so I won't get too much into that, but I will say this movie was crazy as fuck. It was. I had a good time with this movie. I did. I enjoyed the main characters for the most part. We have a cast that consists of Mia Goth, who looks very familiar. I probably should have looked her up before this review, because I swear I must have seen her in something, or she just has that look. You know, she has a look that's likable, that makes you want to follow her as a character, even though in the movie she has some flaws, she has some issues or stuff going on, but hey, you know, she's human. You know, she's not perfect. So I appreciated that. Her boyfriend in the movie is played by Martin Henderson. He's the one that's kind of getting this whole porn situation together. And Brittany Snow. Let's mention Brittany Snow really quick, because I used to remember seeing Brittany Snow in so many teen comedies or just movies that fit maybe a younger demographic, or I don't know, she always played the innocent girl or the nice girl. She's funny in the Pitch Perfect movies, and so I was very surprised and impressed to see how much willing she was to sort of go for it in this film. Yes, once I realized that they were making a porn, I thought, okay, you might have some sex scenes, but how far are they going to take it? No, Brittany Snow is naked as fuck. You know, she is totally into it. She is playing a completely different character than I've ever seen her before. Lots of other characters. Mia Goth, she gets naked too. Kid Cudi is in this movie. He plays the guy that they fuck in the film, and I was like, wow, has this guy acted before? Because obviously he's a musician, but I was like, wow, okay, he's actually decent in this film. And Jenny Ortega, I want to mention her because obviously first time I think I saw her was in that Netflix show You, and most recently she was in the Scream reboot, and I really liked her, and I liked her in this movie as well. Obviously, you're going to have some cliched stuff as far as like, hey, why is this character doing this really dumb thing? You know, it almost makes you want to yell at the screen and say, what the fuck? What are you doing? Don't follow that person, or don't go over there, or it's so obviously your death is about to happen, you know? But I think this movie is paying homage or paying tribute to the old slasher horror films that did do stuff like that. Horror movies from the 70s and 80s that you don't really get anymore. Sure, you do have horror movies where characters do dumb things and you're frustrated at them, but not in this way. And not with this much care, not with this much, attention put into it. I thought the film was well made. I thought the movie was well acted. I thought that even though there were some scenes where I thought some of the deaths were telegraphed or obvious, I kind of called like, okay, this is going to happen. But even though I called it, I still felt tense. I still felt the heebie-jeebies. You know, I still felt like, oh, this is going to be bad. A couple other things that I saw in other reviews is that, oh, this movie is so gory and so brutal and so violent. And it is. You know, there's definitely kills that are a little graphic or a little, gory. But I think it's because I've seen so much gore. I've seen so much horror movies that don't give a fuck and just go all out. Even sometimes too much. To where I thought this was standard. You know, I thought like this didn't go too over the top with the blood and gore, too much for me. If you watch the movie and say, dude, what the hell are you talking about? This was crazy. I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I've watched too much horror. Or maybe you haven't watched enough horror. Or maybe it's been a while since a horror movie had the sex, drugs, nudity, and violence that I think horror movies should really strive for. You know, this ain't no PG-13 horror movie. This ain't no movie that doesn't really want to go there or do things that it should be doing. And so it was appreciated. I'm not prepared to say this is the best horror movie, slasher movie of all time. That's ridiculous. Come on. I almost feel like putting that out there is going to make people resent this movie or shit on it just because it's not at that highest of high praises. But it's still very good. It's still better than horror movies, a decent amount of horror movies that we get nowadays. And I would also argue that because it takes place in 1979, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, I probably didn't. It did remind me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just in the sense of like, hey, here's this group who are traveling to this unknown, almost secluded area, and they just happened to be with the wrong people. I had a good time. I did. It's not the best. It's not the greatest. It's not something that I'm dropping my load all over, as gross as that sounded. But this movie, given the premise, it makes sense. It works. I'm gonna give this film for a rating. Fuck it. Let's go full price. I initially was thinking, should I give it that high of a mark? But I couldn't think of a reason not to. You know, I don't have a whole lot of complaints for this. I had a good time. I was glad I saw it. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of X, if you saw it, or if you saw the trailer. Do you have any interest in this movie? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!